The top 10 rarest items in Build-A-Boat for Treasure that only 1% of players have. Yes, guys, these items are that rare. I try to rank these as best as I possibly could. Some of them might be a little off, but I think this list is pretty accurate. If I'm missing out any items, please let me know down below inside the comments section. But let's get straight into number 9. Alright, in the number 9 spots, we have the laser launcher right here, and this item is still obtainable to this day. It's a mountable PvP item that's best used when far away. It's not that good close up, but it is a toy exclusive item, and what that means is you have to actually purchase it by buying the Nerf Roblox Build-A-Boat for Treasure Space Lock Ray Blaster. And basically, it's going to give you an item code for your Roblox avatar, and then when you join Build-A-Boat, you will be gifted the laser launcher item. This item has been available now for a couple of years. It's still in stock, so it's still available. You still can get this item. But I mean, it does cost real money, so that's what makes it pretty rare, and definitely less than 1% of players have this item. As you guys can see, I almost have every thruster inside of Build-A-Boats, but there's actually one that I'm missing. And that item is the winter thruster. Just like the other thrusters inside of the game, I mean, it's a normal thruster. There's nothing too crazy special about it. It was available inside one of the first ever Christmas updates of Build-A-Boat. And instead of a fire trail, it actually has a snowflake trail similar to the winter jet turbine that we're going to get into here in just a second. But the winter thruster is no longer obtainable inside of the game. I don't think they're ever going to return it just because it's a very rare item. Most of these items in this video are going to be unobtainable, but there is a few that are obtainable, so stay tuned because these are only going to get more rare and more rare. And that leads me into the number 8 spot. In the same update as the winter thruster, they also added the winter jet. Now, definitely, this is one of the coolest jets inside of the game, in my opinion. It has the snowflake trail, very similar as to what the winter thruster would have, and it also plays like a jingle sound instead of actual, you know, fire sound effects. I don't really know, like an engine sound effect, but this one is just like, you know, jingles, like on a sleigh. It is pretty awesome. It is slightly faster than the normal red jet turbine, or at least I think it is. In fact, let's quickly put them to the test just to see the speed difference. All right, so I have both of these right here. I have them both unanchored, and I'm going to activate them in 3, 2, 1, and all right, and here we go. Let's compare the two. 3, 2, 1, and boom, just like that. You guys can see the winter thruster is slightly faster, but it is not as fast as the purple jet turbine. Let's get into the number 7 spot. Next up, we have the spooky thruster, which was inside of one of the first ever Halloween updates of the game. The cool thing about this thruster is it has these cool spikes on the back, but then again, it's nothing incredibly special, so you're not missing out on much. In fact, I barely use this thruster right here. The thruster that you can get for free inside of the game from the stage secret is way better. It's way faster, and it's for free. So I definitely recommend this red one way more, but this one does have a different trail than the other ones, but it sounds the same, and it's pretty fast. It's not the fastest though. And no, that one is not obtainable anymore. We haven't seen it in any Halloween updates, and I don't think it will ever return. All right, these items are starting to get very rare. Now we have the number 6 spot. All right, so for this one, it is going to be this block right here called Pumpkin 1. That's the name of it. It's not called Pumpkin because we technically already have a pumpkin block inside of the game, and that name is Pumpkin, but this pumpkin is decently rare, but not anywhere close to this pumpkin right here. As you guys can see, I only have 4 of these, so it's decently rare, and it was inside of the same update that you could claim the spooky thrusters in as well. It was actually inside of the shop when it originally came out for 50 gold. Yes, this item right here was 50 gold, but no one really bought it that much because it was just a small little decoration block. There really was no reason to buy a lot of them, but turns out it's actually one of the most rarest blocks inside of the game, and it's so old that you can't even paint it because it has its own like custom texture mesh on it that cannot be painted at all. But moving on, we have now the 5 rarest blocks inside of the game. Let's get straight into it. Now, a lot of these that are coming up, I had a very tough job ranking them because they're all very, very rare. So these next ones coming up are kind of tied, but the number 1 spot is hands down probably the rarest block. So let's proceed. Number 5. All right, right here we have the yellow chest, which was basically inside of the shop before for like 1 day. Actually, I believe it was available for a bit longer than that, but it was available inside of the shop, and they also did a code with it as well. Obviously, the code's expired now, and they did remove it from the shop, but it is an extremely rare block. But what also makes this block so special from any other block inside of the game is that if you actually break it, it drops a gold bar. But not just any gold bar, a gold bar that can literally give you free gold. Yes, you guys heard that right. So if I go over here and I throw potions at it and I try to break it, or if it breaks by any stage obstacle, you guys will see right here, it drops a gold bar and you actually can claim free gold off of this. Now, if you're wondering if it's a good idea to just duplicate a bunch of these and just break like a million chests, it's not that easy. I've done it before many times in many different ways. I mean, technically it does work, but the game just gets so laggy with how many chests are spawned in that it's really not worth it. You're way better off using an AFK grinder or just grinding gold normally. But a super, super cool block. One of my favorite blocks inside of the game. But now let's get into the number 4 spot. All right, here we have the candy cane block and also the candy cane rod, which was added in one of the first ever Christmas updates that we've had. Now, there isn't really anything special with these items as well, other than the rarity, obviously, but they do have a custom texture on it that cannot be painted. It's just like the pumpkin block where you can't paint on them at all. They have a strength of 5, but I guess the good part is that you could scale them out and get like a cool little design, but you could actually remake this design with micro blocks, so you're really not missing out on too much here other than just a cool like collector's block. And there was also the post as well, which is just like, you know, the normal block next to it. I really don't have much more about these, so let's go ahead and move on. All right, and in the number 3 spot, we have a very, very special item, which technically is still obtainable, but it is extremely, extremely expensive. This right here is the Steampunk jetpack, which has actually been around for quite some time now, and it's a jetpack that has infinite height limit on it, all right? And it has obviously the steampunk design on it. It does run out of fuel, so it does not have infinite fuel like the wings do, and it's a pretty cool item. It was available by buying the Chill Thrill 709 Avatar toy set, where if you bought this and you redeemed the code, you got a plushie, the jetpack, and also some portals as well, which it's extremely hard to get your hands on these. And the last time I checked on the price when they were available on Amazon, they were like $70 or $80. They might have even been more than that. And now they're not even listed anymore because I don't know if they actually make them anymore, but collectors might have some for sale and they definitely won't be cheap. But technically you could still get it and redeem it, but it's going to cost like a lot. Like, it's not even worth it at that point. It's a cool item, but you could literally get the wings, which is a way better item, for a fraction of the cost, because these only are 250 Robux, which sounds like a lot of Robux, but when you compare it to spending like 80 to 100 actual dollars on a Roblox toy, the wings are definitely the better option. But let's get straight into the number 2 spot. Up next, we have the Life Preserver, taking the number 2 spot. And if you're wondering what this is, it's literally just a chair. And it was available for like literally 1 day. It's literally like your normal average seat, just like this, except it's a Life Preserver. And like I said, it was available for like 1 day, and it was never added back to the shop ever again. And I don't think this is ever going to return. So it is a very, very rare block, but there's still one last block that is probably the rarest out of them all. Well, the Life Preserver now might actually be more rare. But anyway, let's take a look at the number 1 spot. And that is going to be the Master Trophy block. Yes, this item right here is one of the rarest ever. It is awarded to players who win build competitions like the Boat of the Season tournaments, which are tournaments hosted by the game itself. And some of the creations are absolutely insane a part of these tournaments, and it is very, very difficult to win. Like, these are like the best of the best builders and players of Build-A-Boat ever. They do still host these tournaments, so it is still obtainable to get, but I'm telling you guys right now, it is not easy. the winners of the tournaments do get the master trophy, and on top of that, they get like 500,000 gold last time I checked, so there's a lot of cool prizes you can get. And only a handful of players actually have the master trophy. I don't know the exact amount, but it's definitely not a lot. But if I did miss out on any items in this video, let me know down below inside the comment section. As I mentioned, some of these might be out of place just slightly. I try to rank them as best as possible. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out and goodbye.